All right, there's a topic I've been wanting to talk about, though. You know, I've been called a certified member of the Sfv Defense Force for quite some time. I've heard it from some members of the community that anytime there's anyone dissing Street Fighter V, insulting its honor, I'll be right there. I'll be there to defend it, and I always found that interesting. The way I viewed it, I was mostly just not putting up with dumb arguments, because people 6 years in, 5 years in, still talk shit about Street Fighter V in ways that are either no longer relevant or have never been true. But I always found that funny because, as a lot of you might know, I was not a big fan of this game, and I was very vocal about my criticisms when this game first came out. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of look back on some history of my relationship with Street Fighter V. So this was tweeted 2016, February 17, 2016, when I finally got my copy. Time to play the latest beta. I had to go pick this up from the post office in the middle of the winter in the snow, my first winter in Milwaukee. Drive through the snowstorm to go pick up the package from the post office because they couldn't deliver it. When this game was released, Street Fighter V was a flaming piece of garbage. And I was extremely vocal about how shitty this game was when it came out, because this was the worst product I had ever paid $60 for, bar none. This game was so bad when it came out. Nothing worked. Absolutely nothing worked. Online, dysfunctional. Took so long to find a match. The moment you found a match, you disconnected. Constant server issues. Constant bump from being unable to report the results of the match. Leaderboard's not updating. Everyone's rage quitting. There was even some hackers getting into the game, causing chaos. There was no story mode. There was barely any characters. There was constant bugs on every version. There was 8 frames of input delay. There was a rootkit on the PC version. There was just so many issues. I can't even recall how many there was. The saga never ended for how many issues this game had upon release. Oh yeah, 8 frames of input delay. This was the only tweet I could find me mentioning it. Now I can OS my lack of footsies with the 8 frame input delay for Street Fighter V, hee hee, but no, for real, I'm sad this game is such a train wreck. It was bad. It was a bad time. And I was personally hurt because I hadn't really achieved what I wanted to in 4 yet. At that time, I was still grinding Street Fighter 4 up until the day Street Fighter 5 dropped. I didn't play any of the betas, the actual betas, not the full release beta. I was just playing Street Fighter 4. I was giving it my all, man. I was grinding online. I got to like 5k player points. I hadn't made a name for myself in a game and a franchise that I invested so much time into. And I was finally like getting to that point in my life where I'd graduated college, I had a job, I could afford to go to tournaments now, and then Street Fighter V drops. So I'm going to have to get with it or get gone. Street Fighter 4 is done. And Street Fighter 4 was at the height of its tournament popularity. And I felt that, dude. I felt that pain. That hurt. It popped the bubble of all the growth that Street Fighter 4 had in the esports space, and they just dropped a turd on it. They really did. This was another tweet I could find of me lamenting. Remember when Street Fighter had hype and interesting combos? Next time you start streaming, you get to see Rakel hit you with Crush Kind of Roundhouse into another Roundhouse PogChamp. That was Nikali Roundhouse into Roundhouse. Sick combos. Yeah, it hurt. I was also practicing my execution. I was proud of my 1 frame links with Bulwark. I played Street Fighter 4 ROG. I grinded those 1 frame links. I was trying to be like the optimal Balrog, you know what I'm saying? There was something to aspire to. And then Street Fighter 5 came out and I was like, what do I do? What do I do to set myself apart? I couldn't find the tweets where I was really depressed, but I mean, I was contemplating dropping the game entirely. I was contemplating quitting and giving up. I had such a tough time transitioning to the game. And on top of just the game itself being different, it was the quality of life around the game that I mentioned earlier. Just how painful it was to actually go through, sit down and play the game. It was just so painful to try to find matches. In fact, it was sometimes you just couldn't find matches. Online just did not work. They slowly started patching it as the months and the seasons went on, and slowly started addressing all these issues. But it was a rough time. Season 1 was not fun. It was not fun. That said, I went through and looked at all these old tweets and old footage because I thought it was really funny how people, like today, I have a reputation of being part of the Street Fighter V Defense Force. And the truth of the matter is, I am not. It's just, you have to... Here, let's see. Let's see how I felt about the game back then. I'm trying to V-skill, but I'm doing it a little bit too late. It didn't V-trigger? Why don't you V-trigger cancel? Did he do a demon flip? I was getting hit with all the rollback shenanigans. I was getting tight about the culture around the game. Wow, look at the sick sequence Akuma did. 500 retweets of some bullshit demon. He has an instant super. He has a V-trigger cancel that allows him to get in instantly with these bullshit air fireballs into a Geef command grab super. Wow, amazing. That is so hype. That is so good. Hey, look at this Balrog player. He happened to do one tap that he waited the whole fucking round to do, and he found the exact right moment to do it, and he win. Nerf, delete him. What a scrub. What a noob. How dare he? Is that guy even Japanese? What is he doing? What the fuck? What? Ah, this is fuck. What the fuck? Ah. I was losing my mind. I don't think you guys understand how much I was losing my mind. I hated this game so much. This is me finally getting to Master Rank. I worked through. See, the thing is, I hated this game. I hated this game so much, and I worked through it. I put up with all the bullshit. I've seen it all in this game, man. I've seen it all. Failed to retrieve data. That was my reward for being one of the first Master Rank players in this game. I was ranked like top 10 in the world on the leaderboards. All the build up. Ba-bam. There's your Master Rank. I hate Geef. I hate everything about Geef. Don't come in here and GG's me and be all happy and positive. Those are terrible games. I feel nothing but disdain, stress, hatred, and everything negative. And you're gonna come in here and be all positive? I had no fun whatsoever. I'm sitting here hating my life, hating everything, just being stressed, and you get to have all the fun. It's a one-sided exchange. You're an amazing player and you're a really nice guy, but it's all one-sided. It's totally one-sided. The job of the Geef player is to make everyone else miserable. That's why Geef players are so happy, because they just suck the joy and the life and the fun out of everyone else. All right, that part's still true. That hasn't changed. I just wanted to bring that up. There's some questionable language in this clip. Piece of bullshit, garbage, fucking gaseous, rotten dog turd, sludge leaking from the bottom of the dumpster game. It's so fucking trash. I cannot emphasize how awful this product is. I cannot emphasize more how much you should fucking feel like a moron for ever giving Capcom your money. And I'm gonna keep playing this dumbass fucking game. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm a fucking moron. Don't be like me. Don't be like me, guys. I've been through a lot with this game. And the thing is, since Season 1, since Season 2, and as each season has gone on, I can say that they've actually addressed a lot of the problems with this game. As of Season 4, Season 5, I can say that Street Fighter V is a good game. It's a good game. It might not be your favorite game. It might not be the best game of all time, but it's a good game. And it's a good product now. It's actually a good product. On top of the gameplay, at any one of these moments, there was just so many things about this game as a product that would slowly chip away at your sanity. Slowly chip away at your sanity. And on top of it, the gameplay itself was so fucking ridiculously punishing compared to previous Street Fighter games. And it was so hard to see the path to separate yourself from the average player to be able to actually confidently play the game and not lose your mind against any average opponent. It's funny because I think the game has objectively improved so much. First of all, the online, not great, but it's still way better than Street Fighter 4. I can actually sit here and play ranked. I have a dud match every now and again, but you guys watch my streams. It works. I'm actually able to play the game. I couldn't play the game this much in Street Fighter 4. I'm not going to say the online's great. They should fix it. It's so close to being great, but it's not. That's a hit and miss scenario. I hate to bring that one up because that's going to be subjective. But for me, the online is good, not great. I have no problems with any of the menus, the reporting, they address rage quitting, the points update, the training mode works. The training mode is one of the best training modes I've ever used. There's other better ones, but it actually is a huge step in the right direction from Street Fighter 4. I really like the training mode in this game. They still need to add more though. The player experience has just improved so much. It is a completely different product from what it was Season 1. And the thing that gets me is when people complain about Street Fighter V on social media, they bring up points about the game that are no longer true. You can say you don't like the gameplay, that's fine, that's going to be subjective. But I would really recommend people to take another look at it, because the game didn't work before. If you drop this game in Season 1, I don't fucking blame you. You're the smart one. If you look at it now, it's a functional game. They definitely addressed a lot of the issues that people had with earlier seasons with the gameplay. Now, is it still extremely punishing? Is it still about mitigating risk reward so that you don't lose in a flash to V-trigger? Yeah, that still exists. But the way they address the damage scaling, the way they address crush counters, it actually did make the game a lot more neutral based. And there's a lot of stuff that people say doesn't exist in this game, which it does. This game is still very much about neutral. When people say this game is all nutty, dashing, everything, it's just not true anymore. It really is not. So I think people get kind of caught up in this idea of how the game once was, not how it is anymore. So when I get called Street Fighter V Defense Force, I'm just saying, if you're gonna brush off Street Fighter V and saying there's 8 frames of lag, it's not true anymore. Who says that though? Lots of morons on Twitter. The game gets memed to death by people who haven't seen the game in 4 years. That's why first impressions are so important. I mean, it's shit the bed. Like, there's no recovering from that. There's people with influence, dude. You'd be surprised. There's people with influence who just say shit that doesn't make sense. You know, there's people who still think throw loops are in the game. I saw, man, I fucking hate this game. Big tweet. This game is so stupid. On a throw loop, they said there was nothing the player could do. They just had to guess the throw or not. On a throw loop situation. There's no throw loops in Street Fighter V anymore. Is it still lopsided offensive situations where you are forced to make drastic decisions? Hell yeah. It's brutal. No throw loops though. Do you think Street Fighter V could ever live up to Street Fighter IV? No. They shit the bed when they dropped that giant turd. No way, dude. First impressions matter too much. Compare everything I just said. Compare everything I just said to this. You haven't played a new Capcom fighting game in almost a decade. You pre-order Street Fighter IV. You pop it in your 360 for the first time, and this comes on? Come on. There's no way. Let's compare this opening to Street Fighter V opening. They ran out of money. They actually did. They ran out of time. There's a difference. I guess time would be more accurate. I think they had to release something. They had to release something by the end of that last Street Fighter 4 tour. Imagine if Season 1 and 2 we could have skipped. Imagine if they took the time to finish the game. We had another year of Street Fighter 4. They did more play testing. They realized maybe throw loops are a bit too powerful. Maybe our online should work. Maybe we should have a better infrastructure. And then maybe we should promote our games better and add more characters. Imagine the game dropped like this. I clearly remember seeing this trailer at the end of Capcom Cup CPT Finals in Season 2 and thinking, we actually have a real game now. After 2 years of just being completely dumped on by one of the worst products I've ever spent money on, it was a real game. I feel like as a consumer, we're finally getting treated with a little bit of respect. But you can never overcome first impressions. It was inexcusable the way the game dropped. And that's where most people live these days. So when I tell people and I correct people about what they talk about with the game, it's not out of me being Street Fighter V Defense Force. It's inexcusable the way this game was. But it's come a long way. It really has. If the game's not for you, it's not for you. I would recommend giving it a chance. If not, that's fine. But at least if you're going to talk shit, do a little bit of research and then talk shit. I thought we were going to see this from every season here on out, though. I did get fooled by that. Anyways, those are just my thoughts. I think the game's in a decent state right now. Lots of characters, lots of content, decent variety with the V-Skill 1, V-Skill 2, V-Trigger 1, V-Trigger 2 system. The balancing, I think, is as good as it's ever been. And I honestly think it's fun to play. Is it still extremely stressful? Is it still a very demanding game where you could instantly lose it all? Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to treat every bum on the street with a little bit of respect. That is true. But I would still say give it a shot.